Uganda is one of the most endowed countries in Africa with weather and arable land that favors the flourishing of crops and fauna. Most would expect the country to be one of the leading exporters of agro-products to the world market, yearning for plenty of produce. Farmers across the country have struggled to improve yields, often suffering from substantial losses that could have been avoided. Despite the variety of cash crops such as cotton, only coffee has made it to the world market, with the Ministry of Agriculture records showing that in May 2025, Uganda exported 47,607 tons, surpassing Ethiopia to become Africa's top coffee exporter. Almost all other fresh foods and cereals produced in Uganda, many of which are organic, end up in local markets. Any surplus output is often sold at throwaway prices owing to their perishable nature, a lack of market for them. The government has previously made it one of its priorities to improve access to foreign markets for these products. Varying levels of success so far now, farmers continue to take in heavy losses for a variety of reasons, including harsh weather. NTV and the Daily Monitor have looked at what those vying for presidency this time round have to offer to these struggling farmers. We looked at the top 6 measures or plans for agriculture, the heartbeat of the economy, as propagated by the National Resistance Movement NRM, Forum for Democratic Change FDC, Alliance for National Transformation ANT, and National Unity Platform NUP in their manifestos. Allocate 10% of national budget to agriculture sector. Establish government-led industrial zones in every region, focusing on region-specific crops and livestock. Establish farmer service centers staffed with full-time extension workers to provide modern agricultural knowledge, skills and inputs. Introduce crop insurance and farmer banks within agriculture zones to ease access to credit for acquisition of land, quality seeds, pesticides and irrigation facilities. Promote agricultural value addition by establishing processing factories. Provide equipment such as tractors, ox plows, and sprayer pumps. We asked Dr. Fred Muhumuza, an economist, and Dr. Sylvia Kavuma, a specialist in veterinary service and agriculture at large, what they made of these proposals.
So for the 10% allocation of the national budget to agriculture was proposed years back in 2003 at the African Union level during one of the meetings when they felt, I think it was in Maputo, Mozambique, when the African leaders committed that going forward they would be able to allocate 10% to agriculture, and it was believed that it would stimulate growth and transformation of the agricultural sector into a modern agricultural sector. So if 10% was good enough in 2003, I am not sure if and now we're talking about 2026, 2031. I am not sure if the 10% would still be as good. The best budget allocation for agriculture, the population was not where it is today. Even the challenges of climate change and the rest of that, they were not at the scale where we are today. So probably you may find that 10% may no longer be good enough. We should be thinking about a different percentage, given the changes that have taken place within that.
It's good politics. It's a good statement. Is it a reality? Then whatever. So that reality, I think, is still missing. They are speaking politics. The reality of science is a business case.
The National Unity Platform, NUP, which is fronting Robert Kyagulanyi, has the following plans to propel agriculture to the next level. Work with parents and teachers associations to establish a school feeding program. Re-establish farmer cooperatives. Drive structural transformation. Empower youth in agriculture. Invest in infrastructure and research. Champion climate and smart agriculture. So what do these experts make of NUP's proposals?
The cooperatives right now, everybody seems to be taking a lot of precautions to make sure that they are not cheated like they were cheated last time, or their fathers were cheated, or their grandparents. So for the cooperative movement to actually be revived and benefits the farmers, a lot needs to be done. So if whatever is missing, the gaps remaining addressed, I think the cooperatives could be a useful vehicle in helping to strengthen the farmers' collective voice, collective marketing. It will lower the cost of transporting their produce to the markets.
So what do you mean by smart agriculture? If you are not speaking to how are you going to implement it on the ground, first of all, to chew the card on what do you mean by smart agriculture. It could be as simple as doing spacing, which the extension service provider must be there to guide the people, but also people know. But some people don't just follow. You might be saying, I'm going to irrigate. Where is the water? Because I've heard those languages. Irrigation, irrigation. People have no idea how many liters you need per acre of maize, and which also depends on the soils and depends on how hot the season is to get it out. Now that may be part of the smart agriculture. But as we're saying, the devil is in that detail.
The Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate Mugisha Muntu says he plans to focus on the following if he is elected president. Their objective is to ensure every homestead can raise 25.2 million per year. The broad range of enterprises to be supported include food crops in category of grains, tubers, legumes, and other horticulture. They are comprised of rice, maize, cassava, bananas, millet, sorghum, beans, avocado, groundnuts, soybeans, simsim, sunflower, mangoes, oranges, passion fruits, etc. Cash crops include coffee, cotton, tea, tobacco, flowers, livestock, poultry, piggery, dairy, beef, apiary, goats, etc. Fishing and apiary, forestry. Deliberate public initiatives at the community level, institutional and household levels will ensure the planting of millions of trees every year. Make Uganda green and climatically safer again. But what does the plan by the Alliance for National Transformation carry currency with our experts?
Yes, of course, Ant is also picking from that. When they say this is what we'll promote, you are coming back to say, what does the farmer have? So when they are saying the target is 25 million, so they need to get back and say, for a person whose livelihood combines border, education, and farming, this is how we'll support them to get to 25 million. For a person entirely in farming, what should they be doing? A horticulture here, maybe a goat there, a chicken here, to get to 25 million. But 25 million is after you have entered the market. If everybody produces pineapples and the price of pineapple collapses to 400 shillings, 25 million may be hard for people to reach. So there are a number of dynamics, but as we've said, it's good to set a target. Now, the next thing they should be saying, we will do what we call profiling of the households.
Yoweri Museveni, who is the NRM candidate and incumbent president, has the following in his plan. Increase investment in agriculture to facilitate private sector to produce more agricultural inputs, enable extension workers to reach the farmers, disease, pest, and vector control and inspection, surveillance, certification, and enforcement of quality standards of inputs. Continue to deepen their PDM efforts and guide smallholder farmers to engage in intensive farming for high-value enterprises. Set up fertilizer fund to support farmers access fertilizers. Regulate the subsector to ensure compliance with international quality standards. Fund NAGRIC to breed, multiply, and avail breeding stock to farmers, avail quality and affordable semen to farmers, and certify private breeders to complement government efforts of increasing quality breeding stock in the country. Fund the production of animal feeds for cattle, fish, piggery, and poultry. Establish regional fish hatcheries to produce and avail fish fingerings and fries. Invest in water for production, irrigation schemes, valley dams, stock tanks, and solar-powered pumps for smallholder farmers to reduce reliance on rain-fed agriculture. But does the NRM manifesto address the most apparent challenges in agriculture?
For NRM, you hold them deeper because they have been in power. They have said these things for the last 20 years. If you read the manifesto, Ntandikwa was literally PDM Pillar 3. Give people Ntandikwa. Prosperity for all, the same language. You've been seeing all these progressions of manifestos. if you removed the cover page, you'll find the language reads the same. So for the NRM, we're asking deeper questions. What are you going to do differently? Extension service provision. We even experimented NADS. So maybe it's not working. Can we make it commercial so that people can pay? Those who can't pay, we pay for them. It didn't work out. So the NRM people will be asking deeper questions. And I think their manifesto should not be speaking like the older ones. I'll provide extension service. Because you have been on that game. You should be saying, this is how different I am going to do it.
If the operationalization of these manifestos, if the implementation that will go into the details actually does what they are proposing to do, I would say they should be able to address the challenges.
According to analysts, the long-suffering farmers of those who depend on agriculture can only wait and hope that the next president comes to their rescue. Sudil Biaruhanga, NTV.